All right, welcome back to #adulting, everybody. I'm Zack Peter, and you should probably know that by now because you've been binging our show all quarantine.
All quarantine, and I'm Abigail Fraher.
How you doing, boo? You still alive?
I'm still alive. It's cold over here.
I feel like tapping on the, like you're in a fish tank, because that's all I see you now is in a fish tank. It's just, we just have, like, I have no human interaction. I'm ready to, like, fuck a homeless man. I'm ready to do it. I'm ready.
Hold out, Zack. Hold out. You can do it. I'm trying.
I'm trying. I'm still alive. My roots are coming in and my brows are getting bushy, and I'm just like, I even left my scruff on today for you because I know you.
Thank you. You know I love that.
First time I've ever done that. I'm not even wearing shoes right now. Normally I have my boots on when we're taping.
To be official.
Full cash. Okay, so last week we announced our big $1,000 giveaway. Are we ready to announce the winner? We had a lot.
We're so ready.
And I'm like, is it going to be Susie Chavez? Is it going to be Mackenzie Lawton? Is it going to be Jessica Lampis? Is it going to be Christina Marie Fit? Or maybe it's going to be Chef B, Bake It, Make It, Take It. She's ready to take this all to the grave. Not to the grave. To the, where do you get? To the bank?
To the bank? To the living room?
Okay.
I think the living room is the most accurate right now.
Let's pick a winner before we get to our very special guest. Are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please. And the winner is, Susie Chavez.
Yay, Susie!
Yay, Susie! Get it, Susie! Oh my God, she's gonna be so excited. She's wanted to win this so hard, and I swear, like, she's like been like flooding my DMs. Like, I want that. She wants the motor system.
Oh yeah, it's such a good one.
That's
such a good prize.
Woo!
Yay! Congrats, Susie.
24 hours to slide into our DMs at the Adulting Podcast or email us at theadultingpodcast@gmail.com to claim your prize. If you don't, I'm going to take it. So go slide into our DMs right now. All right. Are you ready to talk some money, boo?
Oh, I'm so ready.
We're going to welcome our very special guest. She's the rich bitch, the boss bitch, and the bitch that's going to help us get rich again. She's a New York Times bestselling author and a finance nerd that's going to help us everything from stimulus checks to hooker checks. So I'm ready to start selling my booty on the corner. Please welcome Miss Nicole Lapin.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah. You know, that's one way to go, Zack.
Seriously, you got me with the hooker checks.
I got me with the hooker check too. That was totally improv. I didn't know how I was going to end that intro. And I just looked outside and I was like, amazing. You know what? That's how I'm going to pay my rent this month. I feel like we're all in a dry spell that, like, it might go well.
They're desperate times, guys.
Right?
No, I do not endorse selling your booty. No, hard pass. Yeah. There are other ways, Zack. There are other ways.
Yeah, Zack, you can just be a webcam boy.
Hopefully. Oh yeah, there we go.
That. Okay.
I can start making money off of it instead of selling it for free on Snapchat. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, let's get into this.
Socially distanced, but not financially distanced. Booyah, I'm helping y'all with your...
Yes, you are.
Because I love you so much.
So we want to do, we did the first time we had you on the show, we did the espresso yourself. So we're going to do an espresso yourself quarantine edition where I'm going to start a sentence. You're going to end it for me, just for all of our new listeners who haven't heard the other episode and for all our old ones to get a little bit of an idea of what you're doing during quarantine. All right.
Okay, I didn't remember that it was the espresso thing, but I just remembered really sweating. My armpits were so sweaty when you asked me those things because I was like, oh my God, this is like Mad Libs.
Is it right?
All right,
let's get it started. So I can't start my day in quarantine without
coffee.
Okay. Still drinking the coffee.
Yeah, but that's like, no, that's so that's so cliche. Let's try this again.
What about I can't survive my quarantine day without?
Sure.
Like, how are you getting through it right now?
I can't survive my quarantine day without a bath.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you're taking more, you think?
I do like a good bath. There's a quote that I talk about in my last book that there's not very much that a good bath doesn't fix emotionally.
Yeah.
That's true. It's very relaxing.
That's my little me time.
Love it.
Nobody's joining me in there.
You're like, it's just me. It's fine.
That would be more fun.
I feel that and this is the next one. I feel sexiest during quarantine when
I don't have a fupa. Like I don't have a muffin top over my my spandex pants, my Lulus. That makes me feel super sexy when I don't have that little.
Have you been wearing jeans at all, or are we just staying comfy?
You know, I probably wear jeans like twice a week. I try to do shooting days and then I put jeans on, but I have really stuck to the stretchy jeans where they're like back jeans.
The jeggings.
Yeah, the jeggings.
Love it. And then with quarantine, when I work out, I am doing. Are you working out?
No.
Are you not working out?
No.
Okay, I love it.
when I'm working out, I am in my dreams. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's not get crazy, Abigail.
That's right. Let's not go to, no, we won't. I tried to run here and it was like 36 degrees out. I was like, this is just, it's not happening.
You're my hero. I'm in Vermont. No, there's none of that.
No. Okay. So yes. And then lastly, I feel most like a boss during quarantine when
I'm helping people, like all joking aside, this is a really important time where people care about their health and their wealth. And as you guys know, because I've been on the show, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times. Maybe I'm like one of the most booked #adulting guests. I don't know, because there was the live one that we did in LA. There was one that I came to the studio where you weren't there, Abigail. I think there was another one remote. I mean, I'm here for it, but you know, I've never been busier, honestly. And you guys know that
and you're
run really hard, always. But this is like, you know, this is a really important time. And so I feel most like a boss when I'm actually able to break down all the craziness that's happening, because there is so much stress and there is so much fear around money specifically right now. And so, where a lot of people are pivoting, you know, figuring out what to do to pay bills, to pay down debt, to save, to talk to their significant other about money. There's so much going on there. And so I take it really seriously. I mean, all jokes aside, like I have been, you know, trying to be of service as best I can, like 24/7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's one thing that people are missing right now, is ways that they could be of service to other people. And it's hard. And sometimes you don't have the mental or emotional capacity to even do that, you know, other than, I mean, I think it's helpful for me. That's one thing that's gotten me through it. When I'm like in my head and I'm staying by myself and I'm not trying to be of service to other people, that's when I go stir crazy, and that's when I kind of lose my shit a little bit. But when I'm trying to help somebody else, it at least gives me some sort of purpose. Because I feel like even when you're working and hustling from home, even that can get a little tiresome because you're in the same space. Like normally when people work from home, they don't work in the same space every single day. They try to get out, they go for work at a coffee shop or, you know, whatever the case may be. But I think being of service like you're being right now, Nicole, is really a really important thing that we can all kind of contribute to, more than just staying at home or wearing a mask. Like you can actually go on Instagram and make sure the content or whatever it is that you're putting out there is uplifting people in some way. What would you say is the biggest question people are asking you right now, or like the biggest concern that most people have when it comes to money right now?
The biggest question is what to do if you're furloughed. Jason and I, so I have a podcast called Hush Money on iHeart with the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, and we weren't expecting to come back with another season, but we were just called back to answer questions. And so we just recorded an episode talking to one woman who got furloughed, and we were just overwhelmed by these types of questions. If you got laid off, what's the difference? If you're pivoting, is it time to start something new? I actually left network news. So I was a news anchor for 1.5 million years, and I left during the last recession to start my company, actually. And so it could be a really good time to start a business. There are obviously things you need to know. I mean, when I started the business, it was called Recessionista. That's actually not a joke. And then the recession ended and I was like, yay for the economy, boo for my business. And then I pivoted then too. And that became the basis for Rich Bitch. So I think that, you know, there are huge companies that have started during recessions, depressions, Disney, HP, Trader Joe's, GE, you know. So I think that this could be a really big opportunity if you use it that way. You can turn these challenging times into a challenge for yourself. I mean, the only difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones is how you used it, right? And so I try to reframe what's going on here as, you can only control yourself. You can't control the global economy. You can't control anything but your own little economy. So let's focus on that.
I agree. It's hard because I feel like people haven't really looked at their finances until now they kind of have to. They either, maybe had like their company divide, okay, send this into my savings account, or they kind of put a lot of stuff on autopilot where they weren't really into what their finances were looking at or were looking like. So what advice do you have to people who are now feeling that anxiety and they don't know whether you have been furloughed, whether you're running a company, you don't know how you're going to pay your staff? Like, what advice do you have that you've used for yourself to kind of just stay sane right now with all of the money worries?
I think the first thing, if you're furloughed, really be honest with yourself. And you're right. It's looking at finances for the first time. I talk about this in Rich Bitch. It's like, the best diets are the ones where you only eat in front of the mirror naked. And this is like that. So it's like, get really naked, get really honest with what you're seeing. And it might not be cute, but that's the only way to start a recovery, right? The first step is admitting you have a problem. That's why all my books are 12-step plans. And so with a furlough, like, that means your company is not doing well. Don't lie to yourself. Like, the reason you're furloughed is your company cannot pay you. And so really think hard if you want to stay at that company. And maybe this is a time to start whatever you had in your mind as your passion on the side. Maybe you hate it. It's fine. You got it out of your system. It's really important to keep up with contacts. There are ways. You guys tell me what you've been doing, but there are ways to keep in touch with contacts. I just think that when you're furloughed, don't be delusional about it, that your company is gonna for sure hire you back.
Yeah, that once we're out of this, you have a job and you're gonna have your full-time paycheck. Yeah.
Right.
Totally. You need to have your own back.
Can you talk to us about the truth with the stimulus checks? Because it's so funny listening to everybody's opinion on what they are, what they mean. And I think that a lot of people are uninformed.
Yeah, so the stimulus checks are interesting. It's like a little shot in the arm. It's not changing anybody's day or life necessarily, but I think in combination with all of the other resources and relief programs, it can. So look at it as, an overall mosaic of how you're getting your shit together. And so the stimulus checks are one part of it. So make sure that if you haven't already, you're up to date with the direct deposit from the IRS. If you had your 2018 tax return in and you qualified for the parameters of the stimulus, you made less than $75,000 a year if you're single, then cool. If you qualify for 2019, but you didn't get your tax return in, you're not late because the extension is now to July, but you should get that in because if you qualified last year, but not the year before, then you want to make sure you're super up to date. And the IRS, I'm never going to say anything bad about the IRS. I love you. Please never audit me. XOXO. But, they are really busy and they're trying to get the direct deposit form on their website, but it's not there as of the time we're talking. And so the 8888 form, 4 8s, is the one you have to set up to get direct deposit from the IRS. So if you've used an accountant or if you've used software or whatever in the past, then you probably have already had that set up. But there are some scams going out there with the stimulus checks and bogus things. Unfortunately, people are taking advantage of this. So just make sure that you have it under control with your specific direct deposit information. If it changed since last year, make sure it's up to date. But again, look at it as part of like an overall meal plan for getting your financial shit together during this new normal. So that's that in addition to unemployment. So as you guys know, unemployment for the very first time is now open to freelancers, contract workers, gig economy folks. This is amazing. Get after it. And with the CARES Act, right now, average unemployment is like $400 a week, and it lasts about 6.5 months. With the CARES Act, it ups it $600 a week. So in a lot of states, and it all goes by the state, in a lot of states, it's more than $1,000 a week. So it's the stimulus in addition to unemployment, in addition to all the relief through the SBA, which has now through their Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP. You probably have heard that they ran out of money, but they're trying to refund it. That's also available to freelancers, contract workers, gig economy folks, and all of these other grants that are out there. So it's really looking at it holistically.
Sure.
How much of these checks, of the stimulus check, of unemployment, because I think we're looking at it in the present, and like in this moment we're getting money. How much of that are we going to have to worry about down the line with paying it back with taxes? And can you explain like what the future looks like with accepting that money currently?
Well, it's technically an advance on a future tax credit. So you're not going to pay it back. That is yours if you get it. Unemployment, also the same thing, but you have to check in every week and confirm that you're unemployed. There were a lot of regulations that had people verify that they're searching for jobs. Those have been lifted. A lot of the unemployment rules and regulations have been relaxed, which is good news. And it's also been extended about 3 more months. So you get about 9.5 months or so. But the $600 extra is only until July 31st. So you want to get on top of that. It could get extended, but we're not going to bet on that necessarily. So if you think that you qualify for unemployment, which in some cases, if you had 2 jobs, like if you had a traditional job and you were a freelancer and one of them you were let go of, or one of them was significantly impacted, then you could also qualify for unemployment partially. You just have to go through the state. So the best place I've figured out how to do this, because it's like super complicated and a lot of websites are like old school, I won't call you out, Jersey, but like you have a shitty website to go through. Like, you know, everybody's working on it really fast. The system is clogged. The banks are overwhelmed. The websites are overwhelmed, the phone lines are overwhelmed. So go to careeronestop.org, click on the little green COVID button, and then find your state from there. It's a drop-down menu, and then go through the prompts that way. And there is no shame in the unemployment game. So like, if you think there's any stigma there, like get that out of your brain.
Right, especially now. But with you saying with the advance for the stimulus check, people need to understand that that's coming out of their whatever money they would be getting in their tax return for 2021.
Not in the tax return. So it would be a tax credit. So also if they're, if you happen to get more right now, what they're saying, and again, the rules are coming out very quickly. There's still a lot of confusion. I think Washington's still figuring out the Small Business Administration is still figuring out, the IRS is still figuring it out. So it's not necessarily in your return, but it's not free money. It's your money in the in the way of a credit or a deduction, in the same way as you would take a credit or a deduction for contributing to charity or continuing education or something like that. So it's that credit coming to you you know, it's your credit coming to you now. It's not necessarily something that you're going to have to pay back, but it's not something that would have come in the way of a return, if that makes sense. And right now what they're saying is if you if they overestimate how much you're getting, you don't have to pay it back as of now. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. So does it reduce what you would be getting in 2021? What money you would be getting in a tax return?
I mean, no. So, okay. So you know how you take like deductions and stuff like that if you're going through your taxes? Zach is like, I don't know. I just give it to my tax dude. So that's essentially what it would be. It would be a credit for the 2020 tax year, right? So we think of taxes from the year before. Right. And so we're
next year, 2021.
Oh my gosh.
This would be the final.
I just misspoke.
Yeah.
I just misspoke. That's right. So it would be the 2021 tax credit that you're getting in 2020, because that's where we are now, because we file our 2020 in 2021.
Right. Okay. So let me just, because I'm blonde and I'm trying to understand it. So let's say a magic number is the government was supposed to give us $5,000 in a tax return in 2021. But we got this stimulus check in 2020. Does that mean we're going to get $1,200 less of that $5,000 in 2021?
It doesn't translate exactly like that. Credits go against your taxable income, of course, right? So you have to think of this as a credit or a deduction and not necessarily a straight correlation to your return.
Got it.
Right. So like if you're taking credits for contributing to charity or donating your clothes or like going back to school or something like that, you're taking that as an offset against your taxable income. That's not necessarily like just because you gave $200 to Goodwill that you're getting $200 in a return. It's offsetting what your income is, right? So it's not exactly a correlation. It's just the advance on the credit, not the return. But nonetheless, it's still your money. So it's not time to like go online shopping with that money.
Right. You need to be smart with it. I shouldn't just run and get my hair freshly bleached with my $1,200.
How are you doing that, by the way? I mean, look at my natural hair color. Thank you.
Right?
I'm ready to like do something myself. My hairstylist is like, please don't touch your hair. She's like, just wait and figure it out once we get released. I know. Well, it's funny.
Look at Abigail's face.
Actually, at the live taping we did with you, I was trying to cut my hair at the live taping, and Abigail was like, please don't do that.
Yeah, why would you do that? I'm with her.
I was at the Sky Bar like, I need scissors. Abigail, can you ask the front desk if they have scissors?
Zach, nobody is seeing you on a daily basis. On the podcast, yes. But other than that, just deal. You're going to feel so much prettier after.
Right.
If you could, you're just the prettiest already. So
Right.
With your roots and all. I just ripped off all my gels, by the way. I
did that like 2 weeks ago. It's bad, but what can you do? So let's move on to rent. What are your thoughts on rent? I know it's different by state, I believe. What are your thoughts on waiting to pay? What do you recommend?
Yeah, so
because most people are like, I got free rent for 3 months. I ain't gonna pay shit. So like, should we be paying now? Should we be paying later?
Those are all really good questions. And I do actually want to remind you that like with the hair stuff and with the manicure stuff, don't overlook that, because you'll need a new spending plan based on the new normal, because that stuff is not in your budget anymore. So I created new spending plans based on what we are actually able to do. We can't buy the latte anymore. So like we're taking that out of the line item. So I created a new spending plan that normally, you guys remember, I break it down to the 3 E's: essentials, endgame, and extras. And so 70% of your overall budget goes to the essentials, your food, your transportation, your housing, all of that stuff. 15% goes to the extras, the latte, the mani-pedi, the hair frosting, whatever you're doing, Zach. And then the 15% to the end game, so your future self and your retirement. Right now, I would change those allocations and I would do 5% to extras, because let's be serious, like what are we actually buying? Like maybe put the extras into that random stuff that you're getting on Amazon, or like the extra special food stuff, but like we don't have a lot of extras. Then I would increase the end game, so your savings, to 30%, and then decrease the essentials to 65%. And typically I said half of the essentials goes to housing. So transitioning into your housing question, housing is the biggest portion of your nut that you're spending, and take your head out of the gutter, Zach. Like basically what your nut is like your core expenses. And so typically housing is going to be the first, and then transportation. And those are the two things we need to prioritize, because we need to live and we need to move. So with housing, if you had a mortgage and it's a federal mortgage, then through Fannie and Freddie, there is a way to check it online if you're not sure. And then you do have a hookup from the CARES Act yet again. If you have private lenders, then that's going to be through the state. California, Connecticut, a bunch of states have followed suit with their own relief programs for their state, and through your own lenders. If you do not know Fannie and Freddie, or like, who knows people, I am renting, then this is really important to go through your landlord. So all of this stuff is negotiable. We've talked about this before. Everything is negotiable. Negotiation is my favorite sport. That's maybe how I'm getting my cardio these days. And so you want to go through your landlord. You want to ask if you can have an extension. You want to ask potentially if you can use your security deposit as rent. That's one of my favorite tricks. Or if you could pay half or whatever. But like, make sure you know what's going to happen after those 3 months. Are you going to have to pay that whole shebang in a lump sum? Are you going to go back to monthly? payments, like what is going to happen? And if you do have a mortgage, you want to know what's going to happen to the taxes. You want to know what's going to happen to the payments too. You can't just be like, oh, cool, peace, all good. And then like the 3 months comes, and you're like, oh shit, I don't have 3 months of rent, like just chilling. Zack.
I have a question. So this is more of a personal question, but I'm pretty sure other people, I don't know how this probably can, I'm hoping this makes me a little relatable because that's my intention. So I live in a quote unquote luxury apartment building. So meaning a lot of what I pay for in my rent is for all of the utilities that come with the building. And it's not necessarily for just the roof over my head. That's why I chose to have a smaller apartment, and I skimped on some of the other extras so that I can have access to the building. All of those amenities have been restricted, and I don't have access to any of that. So I'm essentially paying full price in rent for just a roof over my head. So I tried to come to the building and, like you said, negotiate. And I was trying to see if they could make some sort of reduction in rent. Is that even standard for them to do?
Nothing is standard right now. So it's like, you know, all the rules are out the window. A lot of the advice that I would have given traditionally has changed. And yeah, I think everybody's in the same situation. I've had a lot of notes from landlords too that are like, yo, you can't keep telling people to negotiate with us because like we also have bills and stuff to pay. Like we're all in this together, of course. And so, you know, I came up with templates and things that you can say. I'll pimp out my my new portal website that I came up with, nicolesfreebies.com, which is where I came up with templates of like copy and paste for your landlord and what you can say on the phone with your bank, with your credit card company, with your utilities, with your cable and all that stuff. Because I think in theory, we know we should be negotiating. It's in practice, like what exactly to say when we're in that situation that's really overwhelming and can be intimidating, I think.
Zach, what did your apartment say to you when you went to
no. They said no. That was they said no because in our contract when we sign it, they there's a clause that says that they're allowed to close any amenity for any reason, which I understand is like if they need to close the gym for a week, or if there's something that they need to restrict access for in a temporary situation, not necessarily restricting all of our amenities for 3 months. So that's kind of just something I'm having to eat right now. But I just, you know, I feel like and the hard part of it for me too is it's like, I know that they're also going through it. We had a building manager who ended up quitting and then sent all of the building members an email saying, hi, I'm quitting, but here's my Venmo, my Zelle, and my PayPal if you guys want to make any donations to me. I was like, oh, that's ballsy.
Wow. You could do the same thing. I dare you.
Yeah.
Just
right?
like, listen, guys. No, I would go back to them. I mean, Zach, like, honestly, this stuff changes by the day, and all bill collectors, including luxury building landlords and individual landlords, would rather throw you a bone versus losing you. And if there's a chance that they get nothing, they will hook you up in order to get something. Because in a lot of cases right now, people are just piecing out and not paying anything or canceling it or whatever. And, you know, there's not a lot you can do with the restrictions of like social distancing and stuff like that. So like, that's real. And if you really can't pay, then I would try again. I would get more aggressive. I'll do it for you. Do you want me to like be your Cyrano?
Oh man,
I'll be on the like other line. You can hold the phone on speaker and I'll be like, just mute it when they talk.
My money lawyer on the phone. My financial advisor. Okay, so since we only have 5 minutes left on the show, Abigail, do you have any last minute questions for Nicole before we move into
I would just like to ask a very broad question, so hopefully you have enough time, but what are your expectations for when this is over for the economy? What do you see happening both for business owners and then also just individuals? What does the future look like? Obviously no one can tell, but you have more insight than I do.
On with your projection.
Right.
Totally. No, I know I've been rambling a lot. We need to do another episode on all the things. You know, again, I am not a psychic. I'm not a betting woman necessarily, but we are going to get through this because we have gotten through every single recession and dip in the history of the world. So we will. And by the way, if you do have money stashed aside, don't beat yourself up because it's raining. Like you had a rainy day fund, mazel tov, like use it. It's raining, it's downpouring. And if you do have extra money sitting on the sidelines as well, and you have a long-term investment horizon, if you're listening to the show, you do because you young AF, then you can actually go shopping right now because stuff is on sale. So, the old adage, one of the two truisms on Wall Street is buy low, sell high, and stuff is low right now. So this is the time when that future fortunes can be made if you have if you have enough, like that you're not super tapping out your savings and all of that stuff. You have your dollar cost averaging, which basically means you're hedging against some of these fluctuations. So like really quickly, if you have $12,000 for easy math that you want to put in the market, then I would put $1,000 each month. So you're sort of hedging against like the ups and downs. Because the thing is about it's awesome that it's like buy low, sell high, but you're like, I don't know when the low is. I don't know where the high is. And so that's why you do that. And so I think we will get out of this. And the day that there's a vaccine, the market's going to be back. Like all of this stuff is going to be back. And so this is temporary. And so, I would really think hard about, not following groupthink, like taking money out of your 401k, all of that stuff, remembering the tax implications. Because even if you do, by the way, you do have to pay taxes on that. So not an awesome idea. So like, just really try to set yourself up for the best way and think about like the best sectors that are going to thrive in this new normal. Like really embrace the fact that this is not going away. Like put your big girl undies on and say like, okay, I've done the same thing and I've applied for all of the payroll protection stuff. I went through my bank, like I figured out, and I've been maniacally focused on how to pivot my business. As you guys know, a lot of it was offline events. I was still in the thick of a book tour. I had, 5 or 6 cities that I was about to go to. And so I figured out how to pivot. We're all pivoting. And then really just take that into consideration when you're thinking through what your business plans are, whether you have employees or not.
I love it. If people have any more questions for you, Nicole, or they want to listen to your Hush Money podcast, where do you recommend everybody go to get any other questions that they have about money right now answered?
We're answering like 24/7. So that I've actually doubled down on hiring and marketing this time because it's been so crazy. So at Nicole Lapin, wherever social media is served, except TikTok, I'm Nicole.Lapin. I don't feel great about that, but I do feel
for the longest time. My TikTok name was Zack Talk TikTok until I finally was able to get it to match my other account. Now I'm just plain Zack all over the internet. Or can they follow you, Abigail?
You guys can follow me on all socials at Abigail _AF.
And you can follow At The Adulting Podcast on Instagram and at theadultingpodcast.com. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're everywhere. So go follow us and leave us a good review. Nicole, you have a money school that you offer, right, for people as well?
Yes, it's my money masterclass, and I've created the Money School Challenge, which is themoneyschoolchallenge.com, and it's where all of my knowledge, because right now I think we're really stressed when we're looking at financial news all the time, and like we really need to put our blinders on and get back to basics. And so I put all of my knowledge in for the very first time to, again, turn this challenging time into a challenge for yourself, because you can, if not now, when? Like to become your best, most financially savvy self now and when we get out of this mess.
I love it. Where can they access that?
themoneyschoolchallenge.com. Or if you just want the money school, you can go to that, the boss school. That's everything that I learned when I was building my business through a recession. Professor, classes in session, bitches.
Right now, we just have to do the best that we can. Nobody knows what we're doing. And I think if anything, like the biggest takeaway is that like everybody's confused, everybody's anxious, everybody's worried, and like nobody knows what the rules are. Like we're making them up as we go, and like to sit in that uncertainty is I think a little empowering, because we know that like I'm not the only one going through this.
We're all in it together.
And that's, unlike the last recession that we were experiencing, the banks are okay. And so, that's a totally different way, because you can get funding. Rates are super low. It's a different way to think about it. This is a really good time to refinance if you do have a house. And so, yeah, we're all in the uncertainty. So I think that there's a lot more leeway. There are a lot more programs through your specific lenders, all of the car companies. By the way, renegotiate your insurance, because a lot of that is like how you met money miles you drive. And so we're not driving. So renegotiate all that, like go through your specific places to get the hookup, which is the good news. I know you do.
Thank you, Nicole, so much. We love you. Love you
love you the most.
All right, Abigail, until next time, we'll be
#adulting.